Oh, dumb, let's say.
Or should we do that?
Nice. Oh, I've already got this.
Oh, it's not bad, not bad.
I cheat for sure. All right. We're back.
Are we back or?
I don't think we ever left.
We're back. I guess we're back.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Well, I'll intro you.
Okay, cool.
This man that I'm talking to goes by the name Samuel J. Kolder. No, what's your middle name?
I'm not going to share my middle name on this.
Okay, no, he doesn't have a middle name. But yeah, world-renowned filmmaker, explorer, acro, skydiver, life liver, breathwork master, all around good dude.
Thank you.
At Cold.
Wow.
Yeah, and then cue the applause and just be like a clap track. Yeah.
A lot of categories.
A lot of categories.
And let me introduce this guy right here. Also globally recognized content creator, filmmaker, entertainer, singer. I think he used to sing a little bit too.
Shower. Yeah.
No, but Jordan and I have been friends since, I don't know, 2017.
Birth. Yeah.
Soul friends.
Yeah. 2017. Should we talk about how we first met?
Yeah, we can dive into that.
Yeah. I think the first time we hung, we went to the Malibu Creek State Park and we met up with Alex Wasabi and Laura DIY. We climbed the water tower.
Okay, yeah.
And then I think we just got creative from the jump.
That was a thing back then, eh? Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how do you feel now that, because when we were first posting stuff, it was kind of if someone touched a song, it was that was they put their stamp on it. That's their signature, because it's a lot of our inspiration comes from finding a song and we're oh, it's almost like a hidden gem and you don't want to tell anyone about it.
Totally.
And now it's it went from nobody using the same song to everybody using the same trending song to try to get views and stuff.
Totally.
How do you find that change now in the social media space?
Well, I just feel the whole filmmaking community is so much larger now. Back when we were starting off, there weren't as many filmmakers on social media.
Yeah.
And I feel when there was a new person that was really good, we all heard about him or her,
Yeah.
I guess the community was a bit smaller, still massive, but now it's I feel it's massive. There's insanely talented content creators in every country, in every city, I don't know, I feel I guess that's just it's inevitable. I'm sure you and I, in many ways, we pull inspiration from all of the stuff that we watch, whether it's movies or other people's channels or whatever.
Yeah.
We take away things that we like from other people's work and get inspired by it. But I think, completely ripping someone off in every way, I think that
yeah,
at least deserves a bit of credit. Otherwise, I feel it's a bit shady. I was never
But I feel I wouldn't, you yourself, I feel I would never see you, or correct me if I'm wrong, would you, if you knew a song was doing well on TikTok or Instagram and it was a trending song, if it was one of the songs, would you ever use that as a sound or a template, or do you still try to and I guess it's different now.
I haven't been creating for a while. I haven't been uploading reels or things like that for a little while. My focus has been in other areas of life the past couple of years, but I don't see any issue with it, but I feel just who I am as a person, I would tend to lean towards trying to do something original versus just hopping on a trend. But I think trends are cool, and I guess trends are easy ways for you to just take a template and still make something really cool.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I also feel too, it's for Instagram or whatever, it's I also, I weirdly feel it's I'm the old person like looking in on this like younger,
Totally.
you know, but
TikTok, I already
know.
feel like that. Like going on TikTok, I feel so old.
yeah. But for those like shorter form things, it's like if there's a song or something that I'm like, oh, like, and I see other reels or whatever that like are inspiring and or whatever, it's like, I think for like Instagram or TikTok, maybe it's like, you know, I'll use that as a template. But I think still for YouTube or anything, I still feel like YouTube is like the place to showcase like, for me, like longer form content. And I know it's been a minute since I've posted, but I think it's because, and we can touch on this too, it's like, you know, having a recharge period is so important, especially it's like, you know, we went so hard in like, you know, from 2016 to whenever of just like, you know, let's churn something out. And maybe we just had that hunger or whatever that we needed to prove something. But it was like, I was doing stuff every Sunday, or it's like every time we went to a new country, I tried to do something. And it's like, I'm still going to use YouTube as like, this is my original art type of thing. But it's like, now I think it's super important to like recharge, find your purpose, and then like try to make the most meaningful thing as opposed to the most frequent thing. It's like, how do you, because I think we're both in the same page here where it's like, for me, it's been like 9 months since I've uploaded to YouTube. Like, how do you, like, where are you at mentally with like, hey, this is, you know, I'm going to post when I'm feeling like I want to post, or like I'm, you know, maybe just talk about like the recharge process. How do you feel on that?
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely relate, and I'd love to hear your side of things too.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, for me, yeah, like, so you and I, we were grinding from like, I don't know, early, 2014, you probably earlier, just like in the industry up until like 2020.
Yeah.
Was when we kind of, 2019 is when we kind of parted ways, and like we were doing our own things, but it was just solid. I had like a solid 5-6 years of just like grinding, you know, just consistently putting out content, consistently taking on new projects, just like always staying busy, working on something creative, and like riding the social media wave. Like things were blowing up for me back then. Like, you know, I was getting a lot of attention online, and it was fun. And like things were going really well. But then when 2020 hit, I just started to feel like I needed to take a break. Like I was pushing myself really to the limit for like a long time. And like I see that now looking back. Like I didn't, like in that state, I wouldn't have said that I'm stressed. I would have been like, no, I'm chilling. But like looking back, I feel like I was definitely pretty stressed.
Yeah.
Always in my fight or flight nervous system. My rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system wasn't as engaged, so like I was always on, you know.
Yeah.
And like that was due to a lot of different things, like the social pressure. You know, you have a big following, you have this expectation that you're going to be putting out content regularly, and you also don't want to let your audience down. You want to like continue upholding this like image that you have online and continuing to work hard. And I did that for a long time, but when 2020 hit, that was like the year where things changed for me, and I was like, I really need to like take a step back and spend some time finding myself. I felt like the previous years with work, with everything, a lot of distractions in my life, and I didn't really get to sit with myself as much. And I feel like 2020 was the year that kind of like shifted for me. And since then, I've spent a lot of time with myself, checking in with myself, getting to know myself, and yeah, I guess just like moving through life, making sure that, you know, where I'm putting my attention is actually like true to me. I'm not doing certain things, you know, for the rush of fame or the big paychecks, but like I kind of took a step back to analyze my life and make sure that I'm actually enjoying my life and doing the things that I love, by getting to know myself better. So yeah, it was very necessary for me to take a step back, take that break, and I feel like I have been like reinventing myself. I feel like I have a different perspective, and I'm now excited to dive back into more content creation.
Yeah. And I feel like once you take that break, you're then like, it's almost like you have a whole new like will and purpose and perspective to like dive full. Like I feel like weirdly I'm in the same place, and I feel like that's why we're on the couch sitting together, is like, you know, I feel like you reconnect with people at the you know, at the right time when your frequency is
Totally.
in alignment or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, similarly, it's like I do a lot of things not camera facing a lot of the times. It's like I'm always love staying creative, you know, whether it's like music or whatever it may be, just finding enjoyment and outlets to like always, because I feel like that never goes away. You're always wanting to like express yourself in some way, shape or form. But I feel like now, especially with like, you know, whether it's posting stuff on social media or when you're making something, it's like once you're able to step away for a bit and like tune into who you are, how you're feeling, why you're doing what you're doing, all of a sudden when you like when you're making something new or you're sharing something, all of a sudden it comes from this new perspective. It's like it just has a whole new energy to it. It's like, okay, now I'm okay with. I also look at like kind of like musical artists, you know, it's like if Beyonce or Drake or someone like just they're going to the studio to work on something for a year and they're not necessarily constantly like putting stuff out, and all of a sudden they just drop an album or whatever they make. It's like it's from a whole new chapter, and all the, you know, and it sometimes it, you know, people need to take time to like fully recharge. And I think I mean, that's the only issue I really see with like, because I love social media. It's like it's how we met. It's how like you get to get inspired. It's just where you learn from, but also gives you this pressure of like you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, but then you're also just like you feel like I need to now, you know, I have this thing that it's like do I need to post right now? Like I just need to make something. I need to put something out in order to like you know, feed the masses or feed the people that I feel like, you know, I have a responsibility. It's like when I don't know, when I first started doing the whole YouTube thing and we were traveling and everything, it's like I made a kind of goal to myself. It's like every Sunday I'm gonna make a video just to give myself a deadline.
Which is a great goal.
Yeah, and it was great for a while, but then it's like all of a sudden you become, you know, burnt out. It's like
for sure. I don't know how people daily vlog for a long period of time. That to me, I respect it, but I couldn't do it.
No,
I just couldn't.
It's a whole different, it's like that becomes who you are, that becomes your identity. But yeah, I mean, I know even like Casey Neistat and a bunch of other people need the same thing. They're like, okay, I did it. It's amazing. It was my purpose for a while, but now I got to figure out. I guess on that note, I wanted to chat about like Hey Tim, which is like, obviously, I feel like was such a culmination of, you know, obviously it's your life story, but it's like probably took you the longest amount of time of a project to make.
Totally.
I feel like it hit at such an amazing point on the internet too, where it was just like it now allowed, like I feel like a new break of like social travel filmmakers or just filmmakers in general. It's like they got to see that and use that as this kind of like benchmark of, you know, like this is, I want to make something like this, or I want to like make people feel like this. I guess 2 questions for you. Like one, when did you know that like, because even I was like saying to you off camera, it's like we traveled for nearly a year together, and it's like I didn't even know you had a brother, and then finally you felt like I open enough to like express what happened. When did you know that like, hey, this is like something I really want to like put into a video and like express it? And then, you know, to like, how did like, what was the moving parts like for that? Like when you were traveling, did you know like this is going to be for Hey Tim, or like, you know, how did that kind of all come together?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, my brother was a huge inspiration to me. Tim, we were a year apart. We grew up together. We were best friends, and he was a huge inspiration to me, and also like my biggest supporter for sure, no doubt.
And a year older.
Yeah, year and a half. But yeah, I mean, I grew up in like a very religious household. My parents wanted me to be a certain way, and I was really interested in filmmaking and a bit more artsy. And my brother was the one that was like supporting me and encouraging me on. So he was a huge inspiration in my life, and I really looked up to him. So when he passed in 2014, that was when my life completely shifted. That was like the biggest turning point in my entire life. I was exposed to the reality that anyone can just stop existing. Like they're gone forever. It was I call it a wake-up call. It was kind of like a slap in the face. Like, this is the reality of the situation. Like, how do you choose to move forwards from here? And yeah, I mean, ever since that happened, I feel like I chose to try to like embody the energy of Tim. Tim was definitely like very, you only live once energy. Like he would encourage me to step out of my comfort zone. He liked to live like on that edge, stepping into the discomfort, experiencing life. I was a bit more introverted, afraid, but he would help me get out of my shell. And when he passed, I was like, I do want to be more like Tim. I want to live my life like Tim.
Because even that clip at the end of Hey Tim is like you two fist bumping,
Totally.
like, jumping in. I feel like that's like,
Yeah.
was that how it was? It's like,
For sure.
Yeah.
That was in our later years, but
he was the dude always wanting to like.
he was very adventurous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super adventurous, always down to do new, exciting, adventurous things. And
That's great.
yeah, huge inspiration to me. Like I gotta give credit, like a lot of the things that I love and do are I gotta give credit to him. Like he got me my first camera.
Wow.
He actually got the T3i.
Oh, okay.
No, the T1i.
Yeah.
T1i. That was the first camera that he got. He was into photography and he got me into it. And then we started to dabble in video, make little short films and stuff. Like, so we learned together, you know, we would bounce ideas off each other. We actually made a lot of short films growing up.
That's great.
Yeah.
And when did you like, at what point were you like, I like want to make a video like for it? Because like, I feel like a lot of your stuff was like
Totally. So
travel and.
Yeah. So like for 4 or 5 years, I was just like traveling, doing brand deals, working with tourism boards, all that. And in that time I was capturing a lot of footage.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I want to do something meaningful with this footage. It's like, I don't want to just make like a montage. So
Or like another my year or something.
Totally.
Like thing that was an awesome staple that you helped to like, you know, I feel like that's just an amazing thing to be like, hey, here's a year recap. And I feel like once you did that a couple of times, maybe like, you know what, maybe I want to do a life recap or like.
Totally.
Was it something like that?
Yeah. Or just tell like a deeper story.
Yeah.
Have a bit more depth.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could totally make a my year with depth, but
Yeah, no.
I just wanted to tell a story. And
Yeah.
I knew like deep down inside, I could just feel like that was a definitely like a burning desire in me to tell that story. Like it was something that I just felt like needed to happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I could have gone through life without telling that story. There was just this urge in me, like knowing that that's something that I have to share with the world.
One way or another.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then you just took all the footage, like a lot of the footage that because a lot of the scene, or there was a handful of scenes that obviously were shot for the, you know, the film, probably like the recreation of the water being on the kayak. And then, I mean, was that desert stuff just like you coming out of the sand? Was that something you already
No. So yeah.
For that too. Yeah.
So I kind of pieced together the video and the timeline first. I came up with the idea of recreating what happened when my brother had passed.
Yeah.
It was a canoe accident in Algonquin Park in Ontario.
Is that where you shot?
No, we didn't shoot it there, but I got my friend Morgan to play the role as my brother, and we shot it in Los Angeles. Actually, the canoe scene was not Los Angeles, it was in San Diego, close to the skydive drop zone there. We were skydiving. And then the underwater part was actually shot in somewhere in South America, this one island, St.
You just kept,
St. Lucia.
You were just piecing things together. Like,
Yeah.
You're like, I'm skydiving in San Diego. It's like, you know what? While I'm here, I can.
Totally. I was traveling a bunch, had different things going on, so I was just like and I was utilizing the places that I was visiting into the video.
Yeah, I also feel like that's like I feel like when we first started too, I don't know how much like pre-production we were really doing. It was like, you know.
No, for sure. Not much.
Yeah, we're somewhere cool. I know I want to capture this feeling of being somewhere. I'll get the coolest shots, and maybe while you are somewhere, you try to string together a sequence. But it's like, yeah, I mean, not as like a huge side tangent, but what do you think you've learned in terms of like pre-production, like now? Because I feel like, you know, maybe people now are still trying, like either other aspiring filmmakers or whatever, or just yourself. It's like, I find myself wanting to at least have some sort of idea of like what I'm gonna do before I go somewhere. So it's like, yeah, write stuff down, or like how have you handled pre-pro now?
I mean, I haven't done any like creative projects as big as Hey Tim for a while.
Yeah.
I intend to, I want to.
Yeah.
But I think everything that I do that's more serious moving forwards, like pre-production, is taken like very seriously.
Yeah.
Like now, I mean, I wouldn't really accept, I'm trying not to accept any projects, whether it's for brands or anything really, if like the idea isn't like set in stone, confirmed on both ends, and like the pre-production is done, just because I like to go into it like very planned. That's how I want to continue to do things moving forwards. But historically, like back when we were working together, it was super run and gun.
Yeah.
Just show up, maybe try to get some creative ideas on the spot. And like, that's the reality. Like some shoots are just going to be like that. If you have a tight deadline, like no time to do pre-production, or like the budget's not worth really like
thinking
pre-production. Yeah. Then maybe, you know, you can run and gun, still make something cool. But I would like to stick towards, you know, choosing projects that are worth the pre-production.
For sure. And I feel like that's what get like recharge, like going back to recharge time. I feel like that comes in handy so much too, because when you tune into how you're feeling, it's like you can really hone in on like an idea and be like, you know what, I really think making something about my brother, or making something about like time or what, at least you can like take the time to reflect on like something. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, you know, I am going to be in Switzerland, or I do want to go to wherever, and you can figure out how to tie it all in. But I feel like that's what's really cool now, is there's a bunch of people making stuff that feels like it's like narrative based. Nothing, no knock on like montages and like those kind of highlight reel feelings, but I think that's cool, is like finding a way to tell like bigger stories.
Totally. Yeah.
What are your other creative like outlets now, like in the interim of like posting and making video stuff? I know that music's like become a really big hobby, and obviously like you've always been into like acro, working out, like breath work and all that stuff. Like how important is like finding these new like hobbies and outlets?
Yeah.
I
feel like you basically listed them all off, but I don't know. I like to have a lot of different things that I can like progress at. I love my handstand practice. It's something I can take with me anywhere that I'm at in the world. I don't need any equipment. I can do it anywhere. It's something I can constantly work on, get better at. I love it. It's so fun for me. Handstands, acro yoga, same type of thing. Just with the acro, you need another person, so it's like it can be harder to
fly yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, breathwork's been a big thing that I've implemented into my life recently. I mean,
for people that don't know, what's breathwork, and like how would you?
Yeah, breathwork is doing certain breathing patterns in order to regulate your nervous system. That's what I use it for, really.
Nice.
I find in this hyper stimulating environment that we live in, the society that we live in, it's hyper stimulating. Like my mind can easily go to this place where it's just like racing, and then my sympathetic nervous system is always on, my fight or flight. I'm always in fight or flight. And breathwork has been an amazing practice for me to move from fight or flight to rest and digest. And what I'm learning at this stage of my life is that you want to spend most of your life in rest and digest, just for health and longevity. Like that's actually the place you want to be in. You don't always want to be in fight or flight, because then it doesn't allow your body to heal.
And I find like as a society, we just always want to be busy.
Yeah, we always want to be busy, for sure.
Yeah.
And like I'm trying to stay away from just being busy. I feel like for me, being busy for a lot of my life was just me distracting myself from myself.
Yeah.
For real.
It's like not wanting to like tune in. There's like a quote in a TV show I always come back to, where it's like the scariest place a person can be is like alone in their own head.
Totally.
And I feel like a lot of the times we're just trying to find any way to not just be alone with our thoughts. Like we'll doom scroll, as you say, or we'll whatever, try to search the internet, watch TV, whatever it may be. But like breath work is a way to, because we've done a couple of like just what are they called, sessions?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, yeah, just, and it's an awesome way to like tune in.
Totally.
Yeah.
To drop in. Yeah, we did like a 10-minute, a 5-minute this week. But yo, you and I should do a 30-minute
Let's do it.
before you leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, breathwork, it's been a transformative practice for me. I love it. I'm definitely it's gonna be a practice I'm gonna take with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But
It's cool because you can take it with you.
exactly.
You know,
You don't need
doesn't matter
anything
how old
else.
you are. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to get into the flow of actually doing it. I hired a coach and I signed up for 16 sessions, and I feel like that was what I needed in order to get into the flow of it, because I had a physical person there that I was going to disappoint if I don't show up, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have like done it as consistently if I didn't sign up. But
Yeah.
I'm happy that I did. And then after that, like I just like started to really feel how it was changing the way that I view life and just go through life, and realize the importance of it for me.
Yeah, it's important having those practices that you can like, you know, can be like a home base if like you just wake up feeling anxious, or if like you're in the middle of the day, you find your thoughts are going crazy or
Totally.
whatever. It's like a way to just like tune in and step out, and all of a sudden you can, yeah. I think that's another thing as, you know, you get older, it's like, I didn't really know, I didn't have that per se. And I feel like it's cool because it's becoming more regularly available. It's like the idea of meditating, or just like breath work, or ice baths, or, you know, exercise, whatever it may be. Is like just people talking more about just like your mental health and how you're feeling, as opposed to just being like, nope, I'm always gonna have to show that, you know, I'm funny, or this is the best version of me, or I'm busy and I'm like making good money, and like I'm, you know, peacocking or whatever it may be. It's nice to, nice to have these tools. Totally unrelated, but I feel like since we're filmmakers, it'd be nice to talk about like, I guess just gear. Like, do you try to like keep up with like what the new gear is, or do you watch like gear reviews, or you find yourself just like, especially like as we're two people that have probably made videos being like, this is why it's my favorite drone ever, or whatever, you know, like, or do you find that it's like, you know, you care less about gear now?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was starting off, I would watch every single gear review on every camera.
Yeah, I'm
like
still guilty
Lumix was coming out of the new, Panasonic was coming out with the new camera, Sony, like Canon. I was using Canon for forever, but
Yeah.
any new camera that came out, watching the first reviews, you know,
Yeah.
I would like nerd out on all that stuff. But now I can't remember the last time I watched a camera review. It's been a while. And I think it's just because we're at this place where like, I'm good, like with the resolution and like frame rates, like I'm happy with it. I don't actually really need more. I've definitely been diving deeper into like video editing, and like, you know, I love, you know, upgrading the editing. Like I love every time DaVinci releases a new update, or like I learn something new in there, or, you know, download a plugin or something. But with the gear, I feel like I'm pretty good. Like I feel like I'm more interested in like lenses now versus like upgrading the camera.
Yeah. I mean, I'm similar. I am guilty of like, I think it's just my, like, if I am gonna watch something on YouTube or whatever, I enjoy like learning about what.
Totally.
I feel like I've always been like, I used to work at Best Buy in like college and stuff, so I'm always just like, what's the new tech, or
For
like,
sure.
what's just to like keep up. But yeah, I mean, I feel like camera brands is less of like a thing anymore. It's like whether you're shooting in C-Log or S-Log, it's you know.
Yo,
It's pretty much the
full-time
same thing.
filmmaker did this challenge where he invited me and like,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
wait, was it full-time filmmaker or Chris Howe?
But it was a YouTube, and it would show like the different color profiles in the camera, and you had to guess which was which, right?
Totally. They did a challenge where they asked a bunch of filmmakers on YouTube to guess the difference between cameras.
Yeah.
And
It's, like,
most people
impossible.
couldn't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell people it's like whatever glass you've invested in, like that ecosystem, just like keep going with that.
Totally.
Like if you've bought a bunch of like Canon glass, then like you're gonna do great with Canon. And if you bought a bunch of Sony glass, you're gonna do great with Sony.
Totally.
You know. But yeah, I mean, for me, I just like wish list if I can get something that's like 8K, 120 frames a second, you know, like that'll probably really make me excited. But other than that, it's like, you know, I'm super happy with
Totally.
the camera that I have.
AK-120 could be fun.
Yeah.
To be able to crop in on such slow footage.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be dope. I just want built-in NDs.
Oh yeah.
Like more than anything else, I don't like give me the same resolution, just give me internal NDs.
Yeah.
So I'm not screwing NDs on. Like that is definitely something that it's like a huge blocker in the creative process.
Yeah,
having to
having to
screw
take
on
something
and off,
on and
it's
off.
so annoying.
And I know Peter McKinnon made his like, it's like magnetic now.
Is it
where you,
magnetic?
like,
Okay,
Pop it on.
cool.
But you still have to have a thread on the top of the camera, but then you could just like pop the.
No, that's the move. I was
Still very
yeah.
cool. But yeah, built into the camera. And then another thing, I'll throw out lens.
Or into the lens companies like
Yeah, make some.
it could be cool. Make a version of your camera that has a built-in ND in it.
Yeah.
Variable ND. That would be sick.
We're petitioning right now. Well, you can use this as the face. But that would be awesome. Like a lens that goes out into the sun and then just like darkens based on the environment, or something you could actually do
Manually
within the
do.
lens.
Yeah, both could be cool.
Very cool. Also, lenses that are like, say it was a 16 to 35 or a 24 to 70, but everything was like an internal zoom. Because like I do love using like a gimbal. Like I love doing steady cam shots. But it's like if I throw a 16 to 35 on and I want to go from 16 to 35 and the barrel extends, it's like I'm way too lazy to like recalibrate.
Totally.
Same for like 24 to 70, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like that's what stops me sometimes. Like my 14 to 24 is all internal.
Okay.
As a back ND, which like frustrates me a little bit. Like if it was a front, because it has that like spherical lens. But if it was built-in ND and an internal zoom at like whatever length you want. Now I don't know why more lenses aren't like, I guess it would make it bigger, but if they were like the aperture, imagine if like you had a 24 to 100 or whatever and it was all constant f2 or constant 1.4,
Yeah,
that'd be
totally, it'd be amazing. But I think those lenses would just have to be pretty big.
Yeah, they'd be pretty.
I think because of physics, lenses would just have to be big.
Yeah, comment below with physics. If force equals mass times acceleration.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. If there's any physics, Neil deGrasse Tyson, let us know what's up.
Actually, if someone can do the science, figure out what it would be like. How big would the lens have to be if we wanted to build a 24 to 70 f1.2?
Yeah, with no zooming barrel.
It's like this big.
Yeah. Approximately 87 pounds. Oh, okay. And just doing curls with the but yeah, I mean, what do you, because I know you've which has been great, is so many people have wanted to learn from you from so long, and in the world now we're like in a non I forget the word I'm trying to use, but like in a non cynical way, because now everyone's selling like a course, and a lot of them are just like money grabs on the internet, like how do you make $100,000 in a week or whatever. But it's like so many people have wanted to learn from you for so long, and now you have a place where people can, you know, learn from you and also like network and get all these amazing opportunities.
Totally.
You know, how I guess how much effort are you, like how much of your energy, time and stuff is going into Kolder Creative, and also like what made you want to just be like, hey, I want to just like teach? Was it because you were taking a reset from making stuff and you were like, this could be a new place for me to put my energy and attention? Plus, obviously, I know you have like a Da Vinci course. It's like, you know, you're like, maybe I should just tell everyone about like Da Vinci, because like this is what I'm editing with now. Like, how did that all come about?
Yeah, so I guess when 2020 when 2020 had rolled around, I was kind of taking a break from content creation. I decided to shift my focus towards business, where I could be more internal. I'm not like so like public facing.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of the businesses that I started was my online school, Kolder Creative, and that was basically launched in 2021. So it's been 2.5 years, end of 2020. So yeah, almost 3 years since we've been out. And that's been a lot of my focus for sure. I put out an entire course on DaVinci Resolve. I think it's like 90 videos.
Wow.
I put a lot of love and attention into that. I also learned a lot through the process of the entire course. I learned how to teach. I learned how to, you know, produce lessons really. And I learned a lot about editing and filmmaking throughout the process as well. But yeah, that was taking up most of my time for the past 3 years. And we now have like a pretty thriving community of creative people from all over the world. Each month we host really cool contests where we're able to like encourage our members to, you know, create something. And we've found a lot of really talented students through the contests. It's like every time we release a new contest, we find a bunch of very talented people from all over the world. So that's been really cool. It's created a lot of opportunities for people, a lot of job opportunities. It's been an amazing place for everyone to network. And yeah, looking back, I'm like super proud of what me and my team have created. And we have a lot of goals and things we want to do in the future. So it's exciting. It's become a lot bigger than I originally was anticipating at the start. But it's become a big part of my life, and it's just really cool to see how it's changing a lot of people's lives, honestly.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving opportunity to other people, but then also like making some like freedom for yourself, because it died.
The light just died.
Yeah, it's okay.
We just need to trust
that it still looks good.
We won't do a cut. We'll just
yeah, we're gonna leave this in. This is what it's all about. But yeah, I mean, it's nice having some like, also just like free, like I'm a big advocate for like, you know, any content creator in general, whether you're a filmmaker, you're like a dancer or whatever you do. It's like you try to build an audience. No, we're just gonna be pitch black. Build an audience on the internet, but find a way to like have financial freedom where you're not dependent on brands and stuff is like
totally,
which I think is the reason why so many people are trying to find like avenues to earn an income where it's like self-dependent, you know.
For sure.
Whether it's a course or whatever, or like clothing line or just something where it's like, I'm the reason why people are, you know, or just make a cool product that people are wanting to buy into, and it's not just like, you know, you're slanging products all the time.
Totally.
Because one, like you don't want to do that, and two, you don't know how long that's gonna last. So it's like, it's nice to be able to have that ability.
For sure. It felt good to branch out and do something else.
Yeah.
Put my attention elsewhere for a bit.
Yeah. I guess we'll leave it before every single like light dies. What advice would you give to like upcoming creators? And
okay.
Yeah. Maybe answer that, and then I have one more.
That's a good question. I don't know if I've like really like dove into that thought. Like what genuine advice would I give to an upcoming content creator or someone that's trying to make it in the industry? There's so many different approaches. Like I see filmmakers that are super talented and can make really beautiful art, but maybe they're not as good as like selling themselves or on the business side of things. And then you come across filmmakers that, you know, maybe their work isn't as like clean and well polished or like thought out, but they're really good salespeople and they can, you know, make it into a business. It's like, it depends on what your goals are, I guess, right? Like if you're going into this as a career, I mean, I think the reality is most people are probably going to go into it as a career and as a passion, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people in the filmmaking world, they turn it into a career because it started off as a passion, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, advice for creatives now, enjoy the process. Like if, you know, this is something that genuinely lights you up and excites you, ride that wave. And make sure that you're enjoying the process, because that's all this really is. It's just the process. You never get to any like finish line or end zone. It's just you're always in the process of everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's about enjoying the process. There's a quote that I have as my phone background it's an Alan Watts quote. This is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing, and instead of calling it work, realize it is play. Alan Watts.
Love me some Alan Watts.
Totally. But that's just like the direction that I'm kind of trying to go with my life, is to like treat everything that I'm doing as a bit more like play, and naturally that makes me more engaged and more present with what I'm doing, and I do a better job at it. I do it with love. So yeah, I guess, and that comes with enjoying the process. So that's the advice that came off the top of my head.
No, that's good. I mean, there's so many quotes and idioms on like, you know, the journey, like the journey is the destination is the journey, and you know, sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, but you know, the race is long. In the end, it's with yourself. And
yeah,
I feel like it's so true. And it's easier said than like applied, especially when you're like younger and you're constantly comparing yourself. But it's like, you know, hopefully people watching are like, well, obviously you guys can enjoy because you like, you know, you're at where you're at. But it's like, you know, we were still having so, like, I do think like, obviously now we're able to like fully enjoy a bit more, but it's like, we had so much fun. Like there was like all the, you know, maybe let's just quickly talk on like some of our favorite memories together. Cause it's like,
but I agree with what you're saying. Like we did have a lot of fun. It was so much fun. And then I guess it got to a place for me at least where it wasn't as fun, and I felt like I needed to take a break.
Yeah. Once
but
it
now
stops being fun, it's okay to step away.
For sure. Yeah. And I know that that's like a privileged thing to say that you can just like kind of step away from your work. I mean, I transitioned, I was able to do other things, and I was still like filming, but I wasn't really doing it as much as a passion.
Yeah.
Now I can feel that passion coming back after taking a break.
Also, it's like you were saying, it's like, what's the reason why you're doing it as like an aspiring creator?
Yeah.
And it's like, I always think too, it's like, you can't be, at least I think this is like, you can't be the best at something you don't love, because you won't, I feel like you won't have that energy there. Like if you're trying to do something just for money, you're trying to do it to like be better than somebody else, the person that really loves it is gonna always end up more successful, whatever that means, is because it's like, it's gonna feel more effortless, and they're always gonna have that like fire to keep going, because it's like at the end of the day, you have to find something that, you know, like sets you on fire, makes you feel alive, that allows you,
excites you to get out of bed in the morning, for sure.
Because you can't,
I think life's too short. Life is too short to not be excited to wake up in the morning. I want to design my life where I am excited to get out of bed, and I'm excited for the things that I'm doing. And I know that it's not always going to be like that.
Yeah.
Life comes in waves. You have the highs, you have the lows, but in general, I want to be excited to wake up every day for what I'm doing, and you know, setting goals that I'm excited to achieve.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, what's been some of your favorite like trips and memories that we've had?
Yeah.
Is there any that come to mind?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is India.
Oh yeah.
That trip was,
I think that was our first trip together.
So we had met in Malibu first?
We had met in Malibu, and then you were still working with Beautiful Destinations at the time, and they had like one of the first like influencer trips, and it was like, it was a group of like 12 of us, maybe.
I think so. And it was an insane trip.
Unbelievable.
It was crazy. We started in Delhi.
We did the Golden Triangle.
Golden Triangle. We went to Jaipur,
Agra,
and then Gurgaon, something like that.
But I blacked out during the It sounds like a Pokemon.
That place that we stayed in was insane. That last hotel.
That was the one that's like it was like the most like extravagant like hotel in India or something, right? Yeah, I remember
it was
that.
insane.
It smelled like lavender when you walked in.
Yeah,
it was great.
Just like,
I just remember being on a bus for like remember we were on like those long bus rides, but it was fun.
It was fun
because that
I think we stopped at like a flower field at one point too.
Yeah, those were like, we were just excited. Like, I just remember filming from the window of like the bus, just like with 100mm, just capturing like everything, especially in India, because everything's so like
different.
New. So exciting. It's like there's a story everywhere you look. So yeah, I remember you had the big Ronin.
The M?
The M, you're like,
That wasn't even the big one. That was like the smaller one at the time.
Oh yeah, not
right?
like the Ronin 2 or whatever, but still, it's like now you have like the Ronin, you just
For sure.
Yeah, like, but that one you had to like hold like this or top. But that was super fun. I remember you just wanted to backflip everywhere.
Was that era?
we were in front of like the Taj Mahal.
Oh, true, yeah.
And just like, but I remember you and I got to the point where like I would launch you, like I would go like this.
Oh,
like,
did you
launch.
do that? Okay.
Yeah, I did that, and we did that in Hawaii.
Should we try it right now?
Yeah, just that's how it starts.
In your living room?
Should we talk about the time we there was also a phase where you loved climbing shit, like
For sure.
You saw like a crane.
Yeah, that was
cranes.
that
You
was
did
that
in
phase.
India.
Yeah.
We did like climb. Yeah, and then
Literally,
remember,
so
on the
we
way
were at that
down-
really fancy hotel. We were
Yeah.
at like the nicest hotel.
Yeah.
But on the drive there, me, Jacob, and Tom, we saw this huge building with a crane on it, and it looked
Yeah.
abandoned. We were like, that thing looks insane. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's like this like fog in the air. We're like, we want to go climb that thing. So we just decided
At
one of the
sunrise, right?
days. Yeah, we woke up at like, it might have been like 3:30 or 4. Like barely got any sleep. Took a taxi to that building, got in, and spent like, I don't know, an hour at least climbing the stairs, getting to the top. And then Jacob and I just decided to climb out to the end of this crane, which looking back is pretty crazy. Like, it's not something that I would do. I was definitely a bit more reckless.
Thrill seeking.
Thrill seeking for sure.
And it made for a good Instagram post of like feet standing on the ledge.
It was wild. Now I would do it with a base rig and jump off of it, but that's like way safer. We were just doing it like
chill.
Yeah, we were like barefoot up
chill
there.
like that, dude.
But that was
on the way down, the people that were like working there,
they started to
were coming up, and you were just saying hi to everyone, and they were just like, "Oh, okay, they work here," and you're like, yep,
for sure,
keep up the good work.
I mean, in those situations, it's probably better to just act confident, like you're supposed to be there. I mean, it's not probably, it is better because it's worked many times.
Yeah, I want to talk about the birth of Vincenzo Di Lorenzo. For those of you who don't know, I had a character that was an Italian called Vincenzo Di Lorenzo, and he kind of raided like hotels and just different things. Didn't make any sense. But we went to Cuba together, and I think we were trying to iron out the details a couple of days ago of like what exactly happened, but I just remember us being on like the roof of a hotel, and either you were walking the ledge as you usually do, or flying a drone, but maybe it wasn't a drone because I don't know if we were able to get one in there.
I don't think I had a drone there. I don't remember no drone.
So I think it was the ledge situation. You were walking the ledge, and all I remember is like someone spotted you. It was a security or police or something, and they were coming up to reprimand us, but I think in our hearts we were like, oh, we're about to get arrested in Cuba. Like, I don't know what the deal is here. It's like the 1950s. And you were like, distract him, and you darted into an elevator because it only fit one person, and you went down. And when you went down, he came up the stairs, and he was just like, were you standing? Like, he was like kind of yelling at me, thinking like I was the one who was up there. And I just remember I didn't know what to do, so I acted
I just
like
bailed on you.
yeah, I don't want to say it in that many words, but I think like you were just like, you could handle this. And you darted into the elevator.
What kind of a place has a one-person elevator?
A small, like something that's, their cars are still from the 1950s.
Oh,
I
okay,
guess.
true, yeah.
But I just remember I was like, I don't know what to do right now, so I'm gonna be Vincenzo. So I was just like, I do not know what you're talking about. I stand here, it's a beautiful country. I love you. And I just like pretended I didn't know how to speak English correctly. And he was just like, oh, whatever. And I ended up going down, and you were like down in the street, and the rest of that.
So I straight up just
you bailed on me.
I don't remember this.
No,
but-
it's okay. I hold no grudges, but I just remember like that was the birth of like Vincenzo, and like for a lot of trips.
Wait, did we like climb on the outside of the building or something? I remember there being like scaffolding, like.
Yeah, that was our hotel. I remember we were staying in a hotel and had like the 2 twin beds, and right outside the window, they were scaffolding. We climbed that also. You were a Spider-Man at that point. You really liked climbing different.
I mean, you did too. We did some buildings together.
I followed you. I was like, let's do it, bro. At that point too, I just felt like we could do no wrong. I just felt like we were at the point where it was just like, I think whatever we put our mind into, like everything will go fine.
But it did. I mean, we were just shooting content. We're not harming anyone.
No, we were the Avengers.
Totally.
It felt good.
Content Avengers.
But yeah, Vincenzo, he'll come back one day.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be in another situation like that where you'll have to whip him out.
It just cuts to like us in like Venice canals, just like
Same situation.
Chen just like meeting his like father. Papa, where have you been? You left me. It's like an origin story. He was like left at the door somewhere. Anyway. But anything for people to look forward to? Anything that, what can the people look forward to in the life of Sam?
What can people look forward to? Anything specific in terms of projects and stuff? I guess you'll just have to wait and see. But in terms of me, you can expect a more content and...
More backflips?
No, I think I'm good with backflips.
More baker's rooms?
No, but yeah, in terms of projects, like I want to devote my life to art and making cool stuff.
Future? Maybe some music?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to dabble in art in all mediums. But yeah, I mean, I'm just continuing to experience a lot of things. I'm all about experiencing and just creating. So I don't know.
Nice. That
There's nothing in the pipeline right now that I'm like, you guys will just have to wait and see.
Yeah, just wait. Yeah, tease them. Let them know. Something cool is coming soon. Maybe
Could be in 5 years. Could be in 20
maybe
years.
the return of Film Jungle.
Yeah, who knows?
That's what this is, guys. This is an announcement. As soon as the channel hits 500K subscribers.
That's a YouTube channel we started a while back.
Yeah, we teamed up.
Do you think we'd be able to restart that thing? I don't know.
I think so.
I think we have different tastes though in a lot of things. We have similar tastes.
You like beef broth, and I like.
You like Avengers,
food.
and I'm not as big of a fan.
Avengers. I mean,
and you are also vegan. I'm not vegan.
But I feel like I think we combined
our dietary
decently well, because at the time we did some like weird stuff, like we're transitioned to like stingrays and like the sky and stuff.
For sure.
We did some dabbling. But no, I just remember like from other people's perspectives, I've heard from other creators too, that they like when they saw we made something together, like one creator specifically said to me, he was like, how the hell am I supposed to compete with like both of them together? I don't know why they thought it was a competing thing in general, but like I do know it was like not, I think we were ahead of our time a little bit.
Totally. I mean, we were making some really cool shit.
Yeah, you know.
That like no one else was really doing at the time.
Yeah. And I know like, you know, the Backstreet Boys are touring again. Maybe it's the time to like reconnect bands. So
yeah,
we'll see. We're not saying no, people.
We're not saying no.
But we're also not saying yes. So you can read into it any way you want to. But the thumbnail is going to say, the return to Film Jungle, question mark?
That's the thumbnail.
I don't know. People need a clickbait. I don't do that.
What about you? Do you have anything?
Well, thanks for asking, Sam. Yeah, I mean, I wrote and shot a feature years ago, like 3 years ago, that I still have the intention of finishing and making. It's been self-financed, as you can imagine, is a pretty big undertaking. And I am not Bill Gates or Elon Musk, as you know, so I don't have all the finances, but it's something I'm going to continue to finish. And also, it's kind of autobiographical. That is like the main kind of like baby that I think I'll continue to work on, you know, slowly but surely. And you know, my goal is to make features. So I think that working on music, as I know, I mean, you do it for fun. I have like a kind of like a remix of a song that I created that I'm going to put out soon, and hopefully like continue to work on music. And then, yeah, just like, and also I want to keep posting stuff on the YouTube and the socials just to like keep me inspired and wanting to like keep, you know, because I do think it's an amazing way to like keep, you know, stay in touch with an audience and like update people, and just like a good way to communicate and get your message out there. So yeah, that as well. But I don't know, like you said, just like a better version of myself. I'm happy I like got this house in LA. I'm like in a good relationship and reconnecting with good friends. So just like trying to take each day as it comes. And
Totally.
yeah,
That's awesome.
that's the gist of it.
It's been cool reconnecting with
Yeah.
you. Just dropping in this week. Like, it's been a while. We used to do a lot of things together, and then we kind of like branched off, did our own thing for a bit, but it all feels like
It's cool how,
insane.
like, how time, like, I find the friendships that are the best too. It's like years can go by, but when you get together, it's almost like no time has
Totally.
passed. You're
Yeah.
just like, wait, oh, I didn't tell you about this, or like, oh, you didn't know that. Like, it's just like, which is awesome.